Asics has been around since 1949, while Nike was established in 1964. Nike still maintains its juggernaut of a presence in the industry, while still maintaining this slippery slope of a current time we are with the fickleness of customer base and demographic and things of that nature. While Asics, while maintaining its integrity and dedication to sport utility, runners specifically, is gaining traction with the youth. But how long is this going to continue? Let's get into it. What up, what up, what up? Prime Mega New Trees up to the fullest. Trees up! Yeah, so I was watching Complex Sneakers with Joe LaPuma, Matt Welty, and they were speaking to a guy that's from Philly who owns a retail shop, sells sneakers, and they were noticing that there's a resurgence amongst the kids with Asics and, against the Nike, Jordan, the stability of that is dropping, amongst the youth. Whereas with our generation, if you came up 80s, 90s, that's what we into. And they asked a question, how long do they think that run would last? And they started bringing out several factors, like, Asics has been around for a while, and it was always kind of exclusive and dedicated to running. And whereas Nike, even though it did specialize in a few different sports, different utilities, it has now become like the go-to retro company for retros. Whereas the kids, they may have been wearing Jordans previously because of their father or their parents may have introduced them to it, but like youth, anything, when we're young, we want to try to find our own identity. We want to separate ourselves, and while that is definitely, self-identity is definitely a major thing, especially amongst teenagers, amongst your peers and peer pressure and stuff like that. We're just struggling for identity, and Asics is relatable in a few ways in that, it's not north of $200 like Nike and Jordans are. The price wise, I think Asics averages about $95 to $100. There's a couple popular models like the 1130 and the Cayano, which I like the Cayano. They're about $2 something, I believe, resale wise. I don't know what the retail is though. But other than that, and another thing is most of the models kind of look alike. So even if you can't afford the top tier, it still looks, the silhouette is very close, and the retailer from Philadelphia was speaking on specialty that Philly is a runner type town. So they wear a lot of runners there. I know specifically a lot of people are with the New Balances, especially in this area, the Philadelphia area. I've said this before, I've had New Balances, but just like I had hikers, I never had runners. And, I'm looking pretty soon to get into my own get some New Balance, some runners, some Asics. I'm into all of that, you know what I'm saying? I don't discriminate. Like I said, I like what I like. But yeah, I'm from the ages where the time where we lived to see Jordan play. We lived to see Deion Sanders play. All the athletes that are cemented, iconic status, we were there. And the difference with the kids now, is these moments live and die on a timeline. And the average timeline event is about a week, which is equivalent to 6 months to a year in reality off the timeline. So I think it's and they were saying that the kids have it easier than we did back then. I can see that, but when you think about it, there are some similarities. Not to stray away from the subject at hand, but it's tough. You constantly have to keep doing things to maintain your relevance. Whereas back then, you could do something iconic, even heroic, in that certain period of time before that wall dropped, before the whole social media craze, and you live forever in this cyclical, endless loop. And, you know, through books, through classic movies, hundreds, thousands of years, just like hieroglyphics, it'll be written on the wall for some of these athletes and public figures. And if they're associated to a product, that shoe or that piece of clothing will forever be tied to that person, which will always experience, you know, ebbs and flows. It won't go anywhere. It'll just be in and out of the, obscurity of popularity. You know what I'm saying? And whether it be generational amongst the youth, amongst the middle age, you name it. And so I think that's what Nike will always be that. Clearly Asics will be that because it was around before Nike. You know, and there was, you know, people, I saw the comments, you know, in there that people were like, nah, I can't do Asics. I can't see myself spending this amount of money for a sneaker that looks like this and that. And I get it. Like I said, I can see both sides, but I don't really dedicate myself to one particular company or one particular shoe. I do have my favorites. I will say that. And I've said that before. But I definitely want a pair of Asics. I definitely want a pair of New Balances. Not just to be tied with youth, but I am of the hip hop culture, and hip is to know, hop is the movement. So I do keep up in a way, you know what I'm saying? Not because of the kids, but because I'm a part of hip hop, and because I'm just a fan of certain things, and circles of information that allow me to bask in certain trends, you know, and certain trends I don't really, that's up to you to pick and choose what trends you're into. Because some things, as we know, don't age the best, and some age very well. And like I said, if I'm not trying to say that the 80s and 90s was the best, but I'm not mad if you do think that. I'm saying, I feel like, again, we had some of the most iconic times, and not saying that there's none to come ahead, but it was a different time. Like, information was perceived differently when we came up. It was totally different. You know what I'm saying? Things that happen then stay with you. Now it's like, man, I struggle to remember things from 5 minutes ago. The information is running and moving so fast. And so, like I said, even in today, the youth are struggling for identity, and they've seen to make a connection with Asics. And then they're going to possibly take that into their adulthood. I feel like even that connection is not the most solidified. It's not solid like our relationship and our connection was with when we came up, because it was something there. It wasn't hollow. It wasn't based on a algorithmic timeline. Even though there was a timeline back then, the timeline was totally different. Timeline was a couple years, you know, actual years, not a week, which would amount to a year in real life. It's different. So I just, you know, I think that was a really interesting topic that was a smaller example to a bigger issue. You know, which is that bridge, that connection, that bridge, the youth and versus what we're into now. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I encourage anybody to always try different things. I'm not telling you have to be a kid. You know, one problem I will point out with runners, especially with my feet, is that I just started getting, you know, certain shoes or pairs you have to get tailored, or I have to get tailored. Asics, I got to get the right kind of jeans. Whereas with, like, for example, Jordan 1s, they stack right under your jeans. Like, they just stack perfectly, even the lows. The runners, to me, are going to be a little, because they're cut different. On my feet, I'm like, yeah, I got to get the right jeans, possibly get them tailored, or get some dope sweats to highlight that fit, because they're gonna look doofy on me. I know that. You know what I'm saying? Don't even bring up shorts, runners and shorts for me. So, but yeah, like I said, let me know, you know, what are y'all with Asics? Are y'all with trying new type of shoes other than what you're accustomed to? New Balance, you know, other than Nike, Jordan, you know, anything like that. But like I said, Asics will be around, Nike will be around. The fan base will continue to grow. It will experience ups and downs. That's how it works, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just curious, like, how do y'all feel? You know, what do you feel about Asics future with the youth, Nike's future, Jordan's future with the youth, or even with us? Like, are you tired of the same old things? Do you like how they're switching it up? Some of it, they are changing it a little bit. The presentation's changing just a little bit. And again, I did another episode on them bringing up the Nike GT Futures. Those are fire. So that is a sign of progress, evolution. It's coming. You know, Nike's definitely, they're in the lab. So comment below. Let me know how, can't even talk. Let me know how y'all feel. It's your boy Prime Mega. You know what I'm saying? Have a blessed week. Have a blessed day. Let's get it, y'all. Trees up.